9 out of 10 people who start going to the gym quit before they ever see a single result. Not in a year, not in 6 months, before 6 weeks. Think about that for a second. Most people never even make it to the point where their body actually starts changing. They buy the shoes, they get the membership, they show up with real energy and real intention. And then, before anything meaningful even has a chance to happen, they're gone. And here's the thing that bothers me most about that statistic. It's not that people are lazy. It's not that they don't want it badly enough. It's that nobody ever told them what was actually happening inside their body and their brain during those first few weeks. Nobody explained that what they were feeling, that urge to quit, that sudden loss of motivation, that voice saying maybe tomorrow, that's not weakness. That's biology. And once you understand the biology, everything changes. So let's start at the beginning. Day 1, you walk in, maybe you're nervous, maybe you're excited, probably both. You do your workout, you go home sore and kind of proud of yourself. That feeling is real, that motivation is real. But here's what's also happening underneath all of that. Your brain, the part responsible for keeping you alive and protecting you from threats, is quietly flagging this new activity as uncomfortable, as unfamiliar, as something that costs energy and causes pain. And your brain, above almost everything else, is wired to conserve energy and avoid pain. This isn't a character flaw. This is hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution doing exactly what it was designed to do. So by week 2, week 3, when that initial excitement starts to fade, your brain starts doing its job. It starts making the gym feel harder than it is. It starts making your couch feel more reasonable. It starts finding very logical, very convincing reasons why today is not the right day. You're tired. You're busy. You went yesterday. You'll go tomorrow. It's raining. Sound familiar? That's not you being weak. That is your brain running a program it has been running for your entire life. And the only way to override it is to understand it first. Now, here's where the numbers get a little uncomfortable. Studies show that 67% of gym memberships go completely unused. 2 out of the 3 people who pay for a gym membership never actually go. The average person who does go quits after about 24 days, and only around 4% of people who start in January are still consistently going by the time summer hits. 4%. So if you have started the gym, felt incredible for a week or 2, and then slowly watched yourself stop going, you are not the exception. You are the overwhelming majority. The system most people use to start working out is fundamentally broken. It sets people up to quit, and it has nothing to do with how disciplined you are as a person. The people who actually stick, that small group who make it past 6 weeks and build a real habit, they are not more motivated than you. They are not waking up every morning fired up and ready to go. Most of them will tell you that they didn't feel like going half the time either. What they did differently comes down to 3 specific things, and I want to walk you through all 3 of them, because any one of them on its own can completely change your result. The first thing is about goals. Specifically, the type of goal you set when you start. Most people start the gym with what you would call an outcome goal. I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to get abs, I want to look better by summer. And those goals sound completely reasonable. They make total sense. But here's the problem with them. They take months to achieve, and your brain needs a win today. Not in 4 months. Today. When you set a goal that is 4 months away and you show up to the gym for 3 weeks and see almost no visible change in the mirror, your brain does a very simple calculation. It says the effort is high, the reward is invisible, let's stop doing this. The people who stick don't operate on outcome goals. They operate on something called identity goals. Instead of saying, I want to get fit, they start saying, I am becoming someone who works out. Instead of focusing on what they want to look like, they focus on who they are deciding to be. That shift sounds subtle, but it is not subtle at all. Every time you finish a workout, even a short one, even a bad one, you are casting a vote for a version of yourself. You are building evidence, and over time, that evidence stacks up into something your brain actually believes. At some point, you stop dragging yourself to the gym because you think you should, and you start going because it is genuinely part of who you are. That transition does not happen overnight, but it starts the moment you change the question from "what do I want to achieve" to "who am I choosing to become?" The second reason most people quit is something I call the enthusiasm trap. And almost everyone falls into it. It goes like this. You start the gym and you feel genuinely motivated. So you go all in. An hour of cardio, heavy weights, 2 a-days maybe. You push yourself hard because you want results fast and you have the energy right now. So why not use it? And then day 2 arrives and you can barely walk down a flight of stairs. Everything hurts. Getting off the couch requires a plan, and your brain, which now has very fresh, very painful evidence about what the gym does to your body, starts building a case against going back. This is the enthusiasm trap. You burned too bright too fast, and now your brain associates working out with being broken for 3 days. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. For your first 2 weeks, you do less than you think you should. Way less. 20 minutes. Lightweight. You leave the gym feeling like you could have done more. That feeling, that slight frustration that you did not push harder, is actually exactly where you want to be. Because what you are really doing in those first 2 weeks is not building muscle. You are training your brain. You are teaching it that the gym is something you survive, something that is manageable, something you can come back to tomorrow without dreading it. The goal in weeks 1 and 2 is not fitness. The goal is showing up. That is the entire job. The third reason most people quit is the one nobody talks about. And honestly, it might be the most important one of all. We are not built to do hard things alone. I know that sounds simple, maybe even obvious, but most people treat the gym like a completely private, personal mission. They do not tell anyone they started. They do not involve anyone in the process. They just quietly begin and then quietly stop, and nobody ever knows either way. And that approach works against every single thing we know about human behavior. We are tribal by design. For most of human history, doing something alone meant doing something dangerous. Your brain is wired at a deep level to feel safer, more committed, and more consistent when other people are involved. Accountability is not just a productivity tip. It is a biological need. There is a study that found you are 65% more likely to follow through on a goal when you commit to it in front of another person. Not when you write it in a journal, not when you think about it really hard, when another human being knows what you are trying to do. 65%. That is not a small number. So here is what this looks like in practice. You find one person. It does not have to be your best friend. It does not have to be someone who also goes to the gym. It can be a coworker, a family member, someone in an online group. You tell them, I am going to the gym on Tuesday and Thursday this week. And after each session, you send them one message. It can just say, done. That is it. 2 sessions, 2 messages, 1 word each. That tiny loop of commitment and reporting does something powerful to your follow-through. Because now, missing a session is not just letting yourself down. It is a gap in a conversation. And your brain, that same brain that was looking for reasons to quit, now has a social reason to keep going. When I started using this approach, I stopped quitting. Not because I became more disciplined overnight, but because I gave my brain a structure it was actually designed to respond to. Now I want to talk about what is physically happening inside your body during those first 6 weeks. Because when you understand this, the process stops feeling random and starts feeling like something you can actually navigate. Most people think the first few weeks of going to the gym should feel like progress. Like you should be getting visibly stronger, visibly leaner, visibly different in some way. And when they do not see that, they assume it is not working. They assume their body is not responding, and they quit right before everything changes. Here is what is actually happening, week by week, weeks 1 and 2. Your muscles are not changing yet. Almost nothing visible is happening. What is happening is entirely neurological. Your brain is learning movement patterns. It is building the communication pathways between your mind and your muscles. This is why everything feels awkward at first, why you feel uncoordinated, why even light weights feel strange. Your nervous system is being rewired. It takes time, and it has nothing to do with how fit you are or are not. Weeks 3 and 4. This is where your body starts building something called mitochondria. These are the energy-producing structures inside your muscle cells. More mitochondria means more capacity to generate energy, which means exercise starts feeling slightly less brutal. You might notice you are recovering faster. You might notice you feel a little less wrecked after a session. That is real, measurable physiological change happening inside you, even if the mirror has not caught up yet. Week 5. This is the most dangerous week of the entire process, and I want you to remember this part specifically. By week 5, the novelty is completely gone. The early motivation has faded. You do not look dramatically different. You do not feel dramatically different. The workouts have started to feel repetitive, and there is no obvious, visible reason to keep going. This is the week most people quit. Not week 1 when it is hard, not week 2 when they are sore. Week 5, when everything feels fine, but nothing feels exciting. When continuing requires a quiet, boring decision to just keep showing up for no immediately obvious reward. Most people do not make that decision. They drift. They skip one session, then another, and then the habit is gone before it ever fully formed. But here is what they did not know. Here is what makes week 5 so devastating in hindsight. Week 6 is where everything changes. By week 6, something shifts neurologically, hormonally, and structurally. Your body has crossed a threshold. The habit has started to move from the part of your brain that requires conscious effort and decision-making to the part of your brain that handles automatic behavior. Going to the gym starts to feel less like a choice and more like just something you do. Like brushing your teeth. Like making coffee in the morning. The people who quit in week 5 never find out what is waiting for them 7 days later. They leave at the exact moment the compound interest was about to pay out. So, here is your practical game plan. And I want you to keep this simple, because simple is what actually works. For the first 2 weeks, keep every session under 30 minutes. Leave feeling like you could have done more. Your only job is to show up and leave. That is the whole assignment. Follow what I call the 2-day rule. Never let more than 2 days pass without some form of movement. It does not have to be a full workout. A 20-minute walk counts. The goal is to never let your brain fully disconnect from the habit. Get one witness. Text one person after every single session. One word is enough. Just done. Build that loop. Use a physical calendar. Print out 42 days and cross each one off with a pen. Your brain responds to tactile, visible progress in a way that a phone app just does not replicate. Make it physical. And finally, every time you finish a workout, say this to yourself, out loud if you can. I am becoming someone who does this. It sounds simple. Do it anyway. Here is the last thing I want to leave you with. Motivation is not a strategy. It is a feeling. And feelings come and go. You cannot build a consistent habit on something that runs out by Tuesday. What you can build it on is a system that is small enough to be undeniable, supported enough to feel safe, and consistent enough to outlast the weeks when nothing feels exciting. The gym does not require you to be a different person. It does not require more willpower or more discipline than you currently have. It requires a slightly smarter approach during the 6 weeks when your brain is working hardest against you. Get through 6 weeks. Not perfectly. Not every session has to be great. Just get through them. Because on the other side of 6 weeks is a version of you that does not have to convince themselves to go anymore. And that version of you is absolutely worth the wait. Thanks for watching True Health Tales. If this helped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next truth.